Today we're doing another market update for vintage Yu-Gi-Oh! Some really weird movements are currently happening. To paint the picture, last year we had this massive bull run in all of the trading cards, whether it's sports, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything up, 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 up. And then Pokemon came crashing down. And anyone still trying to argue this, oh my fucking god. Like, open some fucking data. Like, Pokemon just crashed down hard. Most things down 50%, some 30, some 80, like base set unlim and stuff like that. So it came back crashing down. Sports in certain areas saw weakness again, and then in others, kept doing fine. And so obviously we all expected, Yu-Gi-Oh! Would also see its corrections. And so yes, around... it's hard to pinpoint, I would say around May 2021 is when we started seeing some downward corrections. They weren't very harsh, but they were there. Anyone trying to say they weren't, I don't know. You can look at the prices yourself. We also covered this on certain PWCC auctions and so forth. Like, some things were down. Now, my assumption was gonna be that this would stay for a while. We would have some downwards pressure because we had so much euphoria before that. That's only natural. However, my assumption was that it wouldn't be as harsh as in Pokemon, because in my opinion, Yu-Gi-Oh! Saw less speculative spending than Pokemon did. Of course, we still saw speculative spending. All the collectibles basically saw speculative spending in the 2020-2021 euphoria, but Pokemon had far more of it. Sports also had far more of it. You just had way more of that Twitch streamer, influencer, insane bragging, flexing kind of stuff going on in those areas than in Yu-Gi-Oh! And so for this reason, my assumption was we would have more organic interest, your slow drip, and we saw that, and then also less harsh corrections. And that was the case until we suddenly saw the past few weeks, someone said like, hey, look at this sale, that's higher than before. Hey, look at this sale, that's higher than before. On my PWCC review last time, I even said like, hey, look, this thing is actually going up again. And this thing, and this thing. And now recently, there's even more sales that are like hard up. Like, just to name a few, and again, this is eBay, so just be aware, maybe something is fishy going on, whatever. But it's so many and spread over time. We had a PSA 10 LOB first edition Red Eyes for 29,000. Okay, we had a PSA 10 Dungeon Dice Monsters Dark Magician Girl for 3,500. We had a PSA 10 starter deck Yugi first edition Dark Magician for 10,000. We had a PSA 10 LOB first Dark Magician for 18,000. We had a PSA 10 LOB first Right Leg for 6,000. Suddenly, we have all of these upper high-end cards hitting these major all-time highs again. And so that begs the question, was that it? Was that our correction? Really? First of all, I would benefit of this greatly if that's the case. If this little blip, this May, June, if that was all, wow, we're swinging. At that point, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the best asset on the planet, which I don't think is realistic to expect. But if it is, I'm happy, cool. In that case, I might have been even too bearish. If that slightest little blip was the extent of your downwards potential, wow. In that case, Yu-Gi-Oh! Truly saw the least speculative spending out of all of the collectibles. But I don't know if that's actually what's going on. Now, one side of the fence might say, oh, this is just manipulation. And I don't think so. I think while some stuff is always fishy, that's just how collectibles are, overall, I do think this is currently a trend. I think currently, high-end items within Yu-Gi-Oh! Are breaking all-time highs again. Might one or two sales be, bullshit shill bidding or relisting or anything like that? Sure. But the trend is there. I'm also seeing the bullishness from some people on Instagram, in certain Discords, in my YouTube comment section even. So this bullish trend currently is there. The market seems to have bottomed. Now, the only thing that could be going on right now is that we are in a bull trap. Now, if you don't know what a bull trap is, essentially some people talk about hype cycles and how you can have your, your run up, your mass hysteria, your euphoria, and then you go down and then people are like, oh wow, this is going down. Then you have your bull trap, which is stuff goes up again and people are like, whoa, that was as low as we're gonna go. This is it. It's only up from here. Now we're gonna break even more ceilings. A lot of people then pull in, stuff goes up again, and that's when your euphoria actually wins and then truly goes down hard. That is what a bull trap is. And you've seen this in many markets across the board. You've seen this in stocks, you've seen this in crypto, you've seen this in a variety of markets. So this is not some alien concept. It's very possible that cards right now are in some type of bull trap. And again, I'm not saying they are, I don't know, but it's still something to be aware of. You know, it'd be sad if you're now FOMOing in, because again, we have a little bit of that bullishness, for then to actually have a harsher correction than the slight one, or well, barely the one we had before. Overall, I'm still confident that YuGiOh will see the least amount of correction once we zoom out. Obviously, from the day-to-day, whatever. But when we zoom out, I think YuGiOh, compared to sports, compared to Pokemon, will see the least amount of correction on its good items, purely because we had the least amount of speculation. We had the least amount of sports cards people who truly give zero fucks about YuGiOh, you know, just entering for the sake of entering like they did with Pokemon. And again, some of that happens, but it was so much more when Logan Paul's whole thing and every Twitch streamer opening and all of that was going on. We mostly had people who were like, oh, those cards are going up, I wonder what's going on with YuGiOh, and then that kind of attention coming in. It was much more organic. So for that reason, I am more bullish on YuGiOh overall than anything else in the card world. And maybe I'll be wrong, I don't know. But I'm still careful right now. However, I'm also still keeping my eyes peeled. Sometimes I am buying. To me, it's fine to always be buying and selling in these markets, as long as you are still not being overexposed, but also not being underexposed. To me, having more than 25% of what you own in collectibles is extremely risky. But if you are into collectibles and completely selling out, I'm like, well, are you really into collectibles? That's a bit odd to me as well. So it's an ebb and flow, you know, and depending on how you try to read the market or you don't, it's kind of up to you. I know some people are like, oh, don't time the market, just have time in the market. That's true for equities and so forth. That might even be true for real estate, but it's not something I'm a fan of when it comes to speculative markets. A lot of these speculative markets are easier to read than the more efficient markets that are actually global hubs of trillions of dollars like equities and so forth. It's much easier to play in these inefficiencies, and it's also more fun. Another area of discussion is like, it's weird how we are having this correction upwards, or whatever you want to call it, in collectibles at the exact same time as crypto booming again. I've spoken about this correlation between collectibles and crypto before, and I think I spoke about it like way before other people, and you would have to check out the video for the details, but it's just weird how just when crypto is pumping again, suddenly collectibles are recovering. That is, you know, that's just a little odd one to keep in mind. I do have to say, you know, I currently have a Cyberstein PSA 9 and a Dark Magician Girl MFC First Edition PSA 10 for sale. My plan is to not sell both. It's just that once one of them sells, the other is no longer for sale. It's to make sure that I'm not, like I said, overexposed to this market. It's to rebalance. And so one sells, the other goes off the market. But what I've noticed is, I've had interest in these cards in crypto. There are people who are like, well, I'm gonna offer for this card, but I want to pay you in Ethereum. Once again, there is potential for correlation. I don't think it's a hard correlation, at least I hope not. But once again, pretty weird coincidence to keep in mind. Pokemon is also recovering, so I would just want to make it very clear, it's not just YuGiOh seeing like this bullish behavior right now. We're seeing certain sports cards breaking all-time highs, we're seeing certain Pokemon cards recovering very well, and even some really big deals going on in that space. We're seeing MetaZoo going to the moon. You can say maybe Rudy is doing quite a bit of that. We're even seeing some Cardfight Vanguard doing some stuff. So be aware, this is not some localized thing. Like, this is industry-wide. So that's that. So yeah, TLDR, bullish but cautious. Hope you found it interesting. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.